Caesar Munir Wilson used the money he stole from the federal government to buy this lakeside mansion in Prior Lake and to invest in cryptocurrency, among other things.
Filed false tax returns requesting over $90 million in refunds.
He's accused of filing fake tax returns for himself by making up a fake company, falsely claiming to have a $500,000 farming loss, even though he's not a farmer, and faking $11 million in gambling winnings.
They also allege Wilson helped file additional claims totaling more than $210 million.
In all, Wilson made or directed $350 million in fraudulent claims, of which the Treasury Department paid out $19 million. In actuality, Wilson never reported making more than $100,000.
According to the indictment, Wilson used some of that money to buy a $2.5 million house in Prior Lake and invest in cryptocurrency.
Go big or go home. Minnesota man charged in $350 million tax refund fraud scheme. Get this. Man is charged after prosecutors say he ran a tax fraud scheme that generated more than $19 million in fraudulent refunds. I mean, he's a genius criminal, right? I mean, why go out and rob banks when you can just sit behind your desk and make up a bunch of stuff and get it through the IRS? How is that even possible? And he sought more than $350 million from the federal government, the IRS. Let's get into this one. Here we go. The indictment alleges the activity involved filing false tax claims, attempting fraudulent bank transactions, and recruiting others to submit similar findings. Caesar Munir Wilson, accused of conspiring to file fraudulent tax returns, seeking large refunds from the IRS. This guy has balls, right? This guy, I mean, you ever have the IRS come down on you? Not a lot of fun. Yeah, it's not a great experience. They're going to get theirs, right? Whether theirs is ours or, whatever that equation results in. Federal court records show that he made an initial appearance in U.S. District Court and was released under conditions on a bond while the case proceeds. What do you want to bet? He gets some kind of probation. Hey, you got to stay in your house for the next 14 days. And maybe don't act as an accountant when you don't have a CPA background, even though you got $19 million past us and you bought that really sweet $2.5 million lake home in Minnesota. We'll get to that. According to the indictment, Wilson personally filed tax returns requesting more than $90 million in refunds. Wow, that is impressive. And helped others file additional returns requesting more than $210 million. I mean, that's a lot of time just sitting there going, oh, here's what we're doing. Prosecutors allege the total fraudulent claims exceeded $350 million and resulted in IRS paying out $19 million through the U.S. Treasury before investigators intervened. So $350 million in IRS, $19 billion in child care, welfare, daycare, feeding the children in Minnesota. I mean, the amount of fraud going on in Minnesota right now is outstanding. It is just, it is top notch. It is top tier. And notice where we have all of the, big outbreaks happening, where you've got ICE, eliminating yet another pesky protester. Because the pesky protester doesn't understand that when they F around with law enforcement, they might die? Yeah, that's happening in Minnesota. It's happening in Minneapolis specifically, isn't it? Where so much of the Leering Center fraud took place. Is that to diffuse the situation? Hey, make them think about the dead protesters, not all the fraud going on. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. Investigators say Wilson operated through business and trust entities he controlled, including the Caesar Wilson Company, which prosecutors allege had no legitimate business operations. Several trusts and estates used to submit tax filings. Guy's got nothing, but he's a genius accountant, right? Hey, I think I can get you. I already got myself $19 million. I can get you more. Court documents also state Wilson never reported more than $100,000 in employment income on his federal taxes. He must have had some outrageous deductions. How are you going to do that? No, you're not going to actually have income of 100,000. You're just going to show you did. You're going to show some massive, massive numbers and that you overpaid, and somehow you get that through. I mean, this is kind of an indication of how much nonsense is getting through past the IRS. 350 million in fraud? One guy? That's impressive. Don't care what you say. Indictment outlines alleged fraudulent tax filings dating back several years. I would think this would be like 20 years. No. Prosecutors say Wilson's filing expanded in 2018 when he allegedly claimed he and his wife were businesses. Okay. And they used Social Security numbers as employer identification numbers, listed Minnesota State Capitol address as a business location. Okay, that's smart thinking. All right, go check out the Capitol. Investigators say he also had filed 14 amended returns in 2021, covering tax years from 06 through 19, requesting about $73 million in refunds he was not entitled to receive. And yet the IRS bought off on a whole bunch of these. Here's 19 million, young man. Check out this bad boy. That is a nice looking lake home. Wilson used the money that he got, the 19 million, to purchase a $2.6 million home in Prior Lake. Investments in cryptocurrency, spent some money on that. And then other projects, whatever he wanted, and personal expenses. He also advised, so this whole article here, ABC, this whole article here, it goes from this through kind of giving the description, gives his name, gives a small rundown. And at the very, very last paragraph, he also advised sovereign citizens about trusts and taxes, even providing them with tax filings. And then the article goes on to say, sovereign citizens believe that certain laws don't apply to their sovereign persona. Okay, but they do believe that they can get massive, massive refunds from the IRS for taxes that they don't owe. Okay, how's that going to go? Now, it's not going to go well for this guy, but, it's white-collar crime. We don't really incarcerate. In Minneapolis and Minnesota, do we incarcerate for white-collar crime? Just one? I mean, because you don't incarcerate for any other kind of crime, relative to what I see on the media, right? You can burn down an entire city, you can burn down a fire station, you can burn down a police station. It's all good. George Floyd, he was the man that held a gun up to a pregnant woman's stomach. Yeah, I mean, he was the man that did that and then died of a fentanyl overdose, right? So authorities further allege Wilson attempted to transfer $20 million using an account connected to the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis that he was not authorized to access. And this guy's good. I mean, this guy, prosecutors say the attempt failed after Wilson entered an incorrect account number. Oh, imagine that. Also described 3 additional attempted transfers of $28 million. That transfer go through? I don't know. How big was it? That was $28 million. Right? I mean, what? We're doing what? Court documents state Wilson helped the man prepare returns, requesting millions of dollars in refunds, including a 2022 filing that led to a payment of more than $10.1 million from the Treasury. He used government trust accounts tied to birth certificates that could be accessed through trust tax returns. Advised him that numbers used in filings could be fabricated. I reversed those 2 sentences, but you get the same idea. This guy did some flim-flam. He did some flim-flam with the flim-flam people, which are sovereign citizens. Those people are crazy. I don't need a driver's license. I don't need to pay taxes. That's usually where you go through this. Wasn't it, White Men Can't Jump? Wesley Snipes. Didn't he go down this road not paying taxes because the sovereign citizens told him he didn't have to? Hey, Wesley, you can do this. You're going to get away with it, man. We believe in you because, white man can't jump. Boy, you'd had hops back then. Prosecutors allege Wilson and the man agreed he would recruit clients for Wilson to teach similar methods and share proceeds from fraudulent refunds. I mean, it worked for a while. Got $19 million. Court documents state the man later filed 38 amended tax returns, requesting more than $202 million in refunds that were not paid. Wah, wah, wah. I can't imagine. I literally cannot imagine creating fraud of this nature, of this degree, and thinking, maybe I'll get away with it. But maybe there's way more of this stuff out there than we're aware of, especially in Minneapolis. Yeah, that seems to be absolute land of fraud, right? Wilson was charged with one count of filing a false claim for tax refund, conspiracy to file a false claim for refund, money laundering, and bank fraud. Prosecutors are also seeking forfeiture of money and property that was obtained through the scheme if he is convicted. Will he be convicted? I mean, will this guy get convicted in Minnesota? It just seems like everything's just kind of, let it go. Like in Washington State. You've got serious reporters asking, not only our attorney general here in Washington State, but also our mayor of Seattle. Hey, are you guys going to investigate any of that Somali fraud, Somali daycare fraud? No? Nope. No, we don't really have an interest in that because when you deport the Somalis, you're deporting our constituents. We're going to get those bastards to vote for us. So, therefore, we are not looking into any of the fraud out there whatsoever. That's what it feels like, right? That's what it seems like. And we've got all these diversions of, protesters who are literally protesting against law enforcement. Did you see that one Looney Tune protester who was like, we've created a checkpoint. We want to know everybody who's coming into this neighborhood. And we're going to get their license plates and we're going to get their IDs and we're going to check to see who they are. You mean like a border check? You mean like that? Yeah, okay. So borders are good when you want to keep out the people that you want to keep out, which is law enforcement, who is keeping out criminals, rapists, thieves, any of that. So you want to keep out the law enforcement, keeping out the criminal illegals. Yeah. It makes zero sense to me whatsoever. And I think it's designed like that because you have to be mentally compromised to think that that is a right direction to go in for the safety of your community. I mean, just absolute, right? I mean, what are they thinking? How do you get from point A to point B with that equation? You just don't. They're destroying the fabric of our community. All right? Well, maybe the fabric of your community is based on criminal activity. Ever consider that? Maybe these people should be deported. It's kind of where I sit. Anywho, thanks so much for being here. I'd love to have you subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks again for joining. Bye for now.